Hello, welcome everybody to another modern video, and this is... Man, it's been a wild week for Amulet lovers out there. There's been some crazy deck lists that have been doing well, including this wild little number that we have over here. This one was played by Mistaken, and he actually went on a crazy run on leagues and also top-8'd the Modern Challenge in the same week. So clearly there is something to this list, or Mistaken just wins playing any kind of garbage, which honestly could be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah, this is Dramatic Entrance Amulet. So it's a 5-mana instant. You may put a green creature from your hand onto the battlefield. That's it. So it's basically like a green Through the Breach. Doesn't grant haste, and it's not easy to cast through Blood Moon. So I don't know what we're trying to do with this card here. It's pretty great at playing around Subtlety, however, and it's pretty great at playing against counterspells because you can like deploy a threat on your opponent's end step, and then you can untap, and then you can actually just hardcast your Titan. However, it doesn't stop there, and we're playing 2 copies of Atraxa Grand Unifier. This is like a card that showed up in the N1. And it has been kind of taking over every single format it's legal in, including Standard, including even stuff like... I even saw people casting this in Vintage, thanks to Oath. So, obviously it was only a matter of time before it found its way into Amulet as well. So we're going to be hopefully putting in some Atraxas into play. That's going to be kind of exciting. Besides that, we have just your normal like, Amulet deck list, but the thing that you will notice here, no Mycosynth Gardens at all. And the idea here is that Mycosynth Gardens it basically forces us to be a little bit more all-in on Amulet bigger. And that kind of plays into what your opponent is trying to do against you in post-Hybrid the game. So because of that, by just cutting the Gardens and just playing more like colored sources and stuff like that, you are making your deck a little bit more robust. And this deck is kind of trying to do that, trying to play like more of a mid-range game and trying to play a little bit fairer, if that's a thing that an Amulet deck can really do when you're trying to like Dramatic Entrance some Atraxas into play. But we'll see how it goes. Like Mistaken has been tearing it with this list, so clearly he's doing something right. In the sideboard we have triple Orvar. Yes, 3 copies of Orvar. We have some Endurances, Fire Spout. I honestly have no idea what this card is for. Like I've just been very unimpressed by this card whenever I tried it. I think it's kind of just worse than Engineered Explosives overall. So I'm not sure what the point is here. A couple of crosses. This card I don't like either. So like a lot of weird choices by Mistaken here that have been working out for him. That's for sure. 2 explosives, 2 Oblivion Stone, and then a single Cavern, a single Boseiju in the sideboard as well. So we're going to be playing this through a modern league. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you like to support my content, you can do so in a variety of different ways. The cheap and basically free way for you to do so is by using the decklist, the links that you will find in the description of the video down below for both Mana Traders and TCG Player. Whenever you use those links and you go about doing your business, you are supporting the stream for free at no extra cost to you, which is great. Also, you will find a 10% discount for Mana Traders if you're interested in trying out their service. And then, if you'd like to support the content directly, you can do so through Patreon, through direct donations with any donation of $30 or more. I will play any deck list of your choice in a video. And then finally, if you're interested in coaching, I also offer that service. Let's see you for round number 1. All right, round number 1. This hand is interesting. We can go turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Vesuva copy Saga. Turn 3, we kind of go from there. I think I like that. It's kind of sketchy because we don't have a Titan, but once we do, we actually have a Dramatic Entrance, which is gonna mean that we can actually speed up the process here, which is nice. Spirebluff Canal. So potentially some, I'm gonna say, some form of Murktide action. We even get to make a construct next turn if we want to, which is nice. Don't hate that. Opponent shocks a Steam Vents and they tap out just straight up. Okay. Bubble Pitching Heat. Okay, that's a bustling one. Pitching and Holy Heat, which is one of the best cards in the matchup. Seems interesting to say the least. Okay, so let's float a mana here. And let's get an Amulet. And here we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have up to 6 mana. But unfortunately, I actually do not have double green. That's very unfortunate. So we're just going to, I guess, bounce here, and I'm just gonna explore. We draw an Atraxa. Perfect. Of course, absolutely perfect. I guess we just make a construct and send the turn back, because there's no real way that we can actually get ahead on green sources. So it's probably best for us to just like make a construct here and send the turn back. So let's just do that, because I have to use a green mana for every Gracer, right? Like next turn we're actually going to have double Amulet, meaning that we're going to be able to play through this stuff. It's kind of rough because we're going to have to like do everything main phase. Jesus, that's so aggressive. That is ridiculously aggressive. Just killing the construct there. Just because they want to serve with Monkey? Damn. I mean, I'll take it. I'll most definitely take it. I'm going to have so much mana next turn. And I guess I'm just going to Dramatic Entrance at Atraxa. So float a mana. Get second Amulet. One thing of note, by the way, is that we do not have... what's his name here? We actually do not have access to Expedition map. So here I think I'm just going to play around Spell Pierce because I can. So I might as well. So that's the extra land drop there. We're just going to make some more mana. So right here we have 8 mana. Yeah, sure. Let's just do Dramatic Entrance here. 3 mana floating. Opponent gets to like do this thing. But even if they counter this, I can just like summon or Spact off of the Gracer. I just have so much mana. This is just kind of ridiculous. So here's an Atraxa. Let's see what we get here. So we have 1 instant, 1 creature, and I guess we have a land. Do we want... I mean, this is kind of... Oh, we have an enchantment. My bad. Right? We have an enchantment, which is nice. This is kind of weird, though, right? That we have... Like, we don't really have that many types. Honestly, like, enchantment and what's his name are kind of a godsend. Like, the fact that we have the free enchantments thanks to Dryad and Saga. I'm trying to think if I should, like, go for it, or I should just send it back. Like, it seems pretty unlikely for them to be able to beat this, but at the same time, I'm not really winning the game here. And my opponent could have... Oh no, they actually cannot have Unholy Heat. They can have Pierce for this, though. Just get Telerist. So this is creature, instant, land, and enchantment. Yeah, I think that's good. Just a moderate draw 4 here. Here's a Gracer. Let's play this. And I guess I could do this again. I'm just gonna go for it. Might as well. Here's Prime Time. Say yes. Boros Garrison and Slayer Stronghold. This thing doesn't trample. Okay. Awkward. Haste Primeval Titan. Haste Atraxa. Bounce this. Go to combat. Swing. And this is... Oh, I don't have Vesuva, dude. So I guess I just have to get 2 basics here. Or like, I guess basic Boseiju. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So now we can just pay for our pact. Oh, this was just lethal. Wait. I thought they were at 18 for whatever reason. Anyway, that's how it goes sometimes. So here's an Endurance. Here's Cavern. Here's Boseiju. I'm gonna cut 2 Ursa Saga. Honestly, like that entire match was kind of a mess. I forgot that I had used my second Saga was actually my Vesuva, so I forgot about that. It was never mind. Just brush it off and move on. So we definitely want Endurances. We definitely want Caverns. We definitely want O-Stones. I think I'm gonna cut this Sagas. At least I'm gonna cut a couple of Amulets. And the question is whether do I want Fire Spout or not, and whether do I want Engineered Explosives or not. Those are the 2 questions that I'm asking myself. I think I'm gonna cut a Summoner's Pact, and I'm just gonna call it a day. Ooh, this hand's nice. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm keeping this hand, particularly on the draw. Turn 1 Gracer into turn 2 Dryad, and we have a basic Forest. This hand is like the dream in the matchup. Oof, not even shocking. Here's a Forest, here's a Gracer. Play my bounce land. So I get to choose next turn whether I want to like copy my bounce land or whether I want to copy another forest. We'll see how it goes. So let's explore. And I think I'm just going to do that here. If they want to counterspell this, that's fine with me. Okay, so I'm just going to Vesuva my own basic forest. So now if my opponent slams a Blood Moon here, I kind of just don't care. I could have also just gone Sunhome and then just play this as my 5th land. But the problem with doing that is like if my opponent I'm giving my opponent a chance to undo that mistake, which is just not countering the Explorer. So they just go land and pass the turn. Alright, here's an Explorer. Good. Let's go mana, land, bounce here, play another land. And I think I'm just gonna slam a Dryad here. If my opponent wants to counter it, I don't really care. Because I have a second one, and also Endurance seems more valuable here than the Dryad. So yeah, just gonna chill here. It's kind of bad if my opponent goes Murktide into thing. Like if they go Murktide into hold up counterspell. So maybe that's an argument there for like pitching to Endurance, but Blood Moon, sure, seems okay. So let's play my Dryad, and I'm gonna resolve the Endurance right now, so my opponent cannot blow me out with. So they cannot blow me out with just like a removal spell to the Dryad. So now they don't have Murktide mana. They don't have, like if they tap out for a blue spell, like a Ledger Shredder or whatever, now they don't have blue mana. So I'm just gonna be able to resolve Primetime now. The only issue is that I was forced to play out the Tolaria West in order to make this play. So that part I'm not super high on, but I think overall I do like my spot right here. I mean, this is what's up. They can subtlety me here, but if they subtlety, that's kind of okay, because they're pitching a card. It is a very real question though, whether I want to attack or not. Because I'm pushing through some damage, but I'm also enabling my opponent to like take the free block and then shock with an Unholy Heat or like even a Bolt and get rid of one of my creatures. Or they just concede the game. Huh, okay. I'll take that. Beating Murktide is always a godsend, so let's do it. Oh yeah, look at this hand. Look at this hand. We're starting off strong right here. This is sarcasm, by the way. This hand does not look super good. I'm trying to see if there's any way that I can defend this hand, but I just don't think there's any, so let's just ship it. This hand is better. Still not quite there. It is better though. So I think I'm gonna keep this one. And I guess I'm bottoming the Boros Garrison, because I don't think I'm particularly interested in going for that. Do I want a Saga on 1, or do I want a T-West on 1? The reason for this is, what am I doing once I have the Amulet in play, right? I think I'm gonna go with Saga on 1. This means I'm gonna be able to play Dryad on turn 3, and then Dramatic Entrance on turn 4. There's an argument for just, making my land drop and just playing the Saga, so that if I draw any land between this and the next turn, I get to play the Dramatic Entrance on turn 4, whether or not the Dryad survives. Like, I don't need to have the Dryad survive in order to allow me to play the Dramatic Entrance on turn 4. So that would be the argument to lead on Tolaria West. But I think that this is the higher upside, and if we're playing, okay, I'm assuming this is not going to be a particularly interactive matchup, so this is probably going to be, I'm going to be handsomely rewarded for my line. So now this coming turn, I can make 4 mana, -1, yeah, so this is just Hammer. Gingerbread, Ginger Boy, Paladin. Alright, so, that's a good draw. Yeah, that's an above average draw. We like that draw. So now I feel very smart for, playing the Saga on turn 1, so I can just win the game on the spot. Isn't it awesome when that happens? I don't even need to show my opponent the Dramatic Entrances. We don't even need to get cheeky. So now we float some mana, make some Titans, and smash some faces. I guess if my opponent has Solitude, we're going to lose. but that's fine. Also, Primeval Titan, so much better than Atraxa here. Semi-Growth Chamber, float some Manases, and we're about to make some 6/6s. Make and haste some 6/6s. Look at me making so much mana. Let's get Border's Garrison, Slayer's Stronghold. That Amulet was a good draw, to be honest, because I don't know if I was going to be able, like, depending on my opponent's hand, like, we know that for sure they're going to have one of these. Oh, look at that, they did have the Solitude. Look at that, they did indeed have the Solitude. This is still fine, because we're going to have enough to pay for our pact here. The problem is, I guess we're not going to be able to Boseiju now. I'm not going to be able to Boseiju, and I'm actually not going to be able to trigger Valakut either. But that's okay. So we're going to get Boseiju plus... It needs to be just a natural green source. It cannot be a bounce land. So I guess it's just going to be a basic forest. And I cannot haste bow. I cannot double strike the Titan because it's not lethal. So we're just going to do this. We're going to do some chomp blocking. But yeah, definitely. I guess I didn't really have to play around it, but wait, I guess here, I guess we do lose to. I guess we do lose to the Ginger Brute here. So maybe what I should have done is, so actually it was a mistake. The way to play around Solitude would have been to, instead of finding the Tolera West, what I was supposed to do was I was supposed to get Boseiju plus Bounce Land. So what that would have done is it would have allowed me to have the Boseiju in hand so that I can just use it to like blow up the Ginger Brute or the Saga or whatever. So actually my opponent has to do stuff. They have to do stuff in main phase, right? Like there's no trick here. They either have it or they don't. And it looks like they don't. Okay, yeah. So they're just dead. Oh, actually I'm at 26 because of the Solitude, so I was still fine, I guess. They would have needed even more stuff to get me. So I would like to pay for a pact so I don't lose. And then would like to pay for another pact so I don't lose. So now we're just going to go attack. We're gonna get Valakut Bounce Land. And this is hilarious actually. So we're gonna go face, then stack some more triggers. And now we can actually like float some mana, and I can just kill the... I can just bounce Boseiju and kill the hammer. So bounce here, blow up the hammer. Do chump blocks, but my opponent's dead, and they know. Pew. Alright, playing against hammer. Of note, there are no forces in this list. I think I like Boseijus, I think I like explosives, and I like ghost stones. I'm not a huge fan of the Atraxa. I think Primeval Titan is going to be better basically every single time. There's an argument for Fire Spout, not super high on the card. We can cut Bojuka Bog. Guess we can cut Dramatic Entrance since we don't have Atraxa. And maybe another Dramatic Entrance? Because like the rest of my cards are good. Fire Spout would be the only card that I could consider. I could bring in like a one-off over the Dramatic Entrance. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the the card Dramatic Entrance in situations like in matchups where they're gonna be like they just every time that you have dead cards can be pretty risky. I don't like this hand. Let's ship it. I like this hand even worse. Actually, is this hand reasonable? Turn 1 Saga, or I can go turn 1 T-West. I think the Boseiju helps this hand a lot, but I'm not a huge fan of like dropping Sagas early in a matchup where my opponent's gonna have access to March. So I think I'm just gonna go to 5. Yeah, this hand's better. This is the best of the bunch that we've seen. So I can go just bottom both of these. I guess I'm gonna bottom both of these. Just Sunhome and Boros. So we're gonna keep 5, bottom Sunhome, bottom Boros. Send it back. And now this is interesting, whether we Saga on 1 or whether we Amulet on 1. I don't think we have enough information to know what's gonna be the choice. Okay, now we kind of do. And I think I want to play Cavern on 1. We're gonna play Cavern on Beast. And then I'm gonna be able to, I'm gonna go Saga and Amulet turn 2. I definitely don't want my opponent to be drawing cards here. Like, we're both on 5, and every card is going to really matter. So they play land, they play Aid. Well, never mind. If they just have the hammer, looks like they do. All right, so things have changed. And we lose. All right, so game number 3. And this is why I don't like Fire Spout, right? Like, you have a very limited window for your cards to do anything. Dude, like, not having Force is... Ugh. I hate not having Force. Why would you not want to play Force of Vigor in Amulet? Like, it's just so good in the mirror. It's so good versus Hammer. There's a pretty significant amount of matchups that just... where that card is, like, your ace. On the play, this hand really relies on... this Boseiju to be good, huh? Let's go to 6. Okay, this hand's better. This hand's better by a lot, actually. I think I'm bottoming one of these Dryads. Oh, my opponent has Solitude. Yeah, maybe... Yeah, I'm just gonna bottom the Grazer. We really need to find some lands here, though. The Natural Valakut with double Dryad is not the worst, but we're definitely gonna need to hit some land drops. This Explorer is gonna need to do some work. So I think that this is the kind of hand where, even though I don't have another bounce land set up, it is still correct for me to just, when I go turn 1 Valakut, turn 2 play Amulet, then play Gruul Turf, I think I'm supposed to bounce the Valakut. I'm not supposed to bounce the Gruul Turf. Springleaf Drum. You got it. Alright, so now things become a lot better. So play Gruul Turf. Just gonna bounce Valakut and explore, see what's up. Basic Forest, not great, that's fine. I really need to find a threat here. I guess 2 lands kind of add up to a threat, which is nice, because that means the Dryads start to be live. Okay, 1 is not enough, but play that. I guess I could have played around what's his name here? Play around Mana Tithe. I'm not gonna play around Mana Tithe, right? Cavern on Giant. Go. So I guess if I find a non-bounce land, I'm gonna be in okay shape. If I find another bounce land, it's kind of awkward. Obviously, Primeval Titan wins on the spot. That's a hammer. Play some Brew, Thopter, bunch of stuff. Do you have it? Okay. I mean, they can swing cleanly here and just kill me in the next turn. So I have to top deck. I can top deck T-West. I can top deck Explosives. Funnily enough, I can top deck Slayer Stronghold. If I'm gonna top deck a land, the best one to draw is Slayer Stronghold, which is hilarious. I think they should keep this. Yeah, they should keep the hammer there. Yep. That doesn't do anything. So we just lose now. We didn't have that many draws that didn't do anything. It was like the 4 Gracers, one of which we know it's in the bottom. So 3 Gracers and one of the 2 Dryads. And I think that's literally it. Fire Spout would have been bad. But, yep. Well, there you go. Losing to Hammer, dude. Like, starting off by winning against Murktide and then losing to Hammer. Like, this is... this is how this league is going. It's gonna be a weird one. Yep. This is kind of exactly what I expected when I registered this deck list. Yes. Yeah, let's keep cutting lands for 7 drops. Seems like a great strategy. Yes. 3 hands that I've seen that do absolutely nothing. So this is a 3. I guess I'm gonna keep this one. Bottom, 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 bottom. Let's do it. There's an argument for just conceding here, right? Just conceding and just like hiding the information and just moving on. I think this is gonna get spell pierced. Oh, this is Living End. Yep. Just gonna play my bounce land here. I don't think that we can hope to like play any sort of incremental game here. That's a draw, I guess. So I have to hope that my opponent doesn't have it this turn and that they have it next turn. Alright. Okay. Huh. Okay. Bog you. So we're just going to try to delay the game, I guess. Dude, what the hell is their hand that they're just doing nothing? Do they just have like hardcast grief and stuff? Alright. Send the turn back. Obviously I'm not playing my Dryad because I can't get any value from it, right? Like there's really no point to playing it. Waker of Waves on end step. And still not cycling. What the hell is their hand? Maybe they have like a bunch of subtleties and whatnot? Okay. I guess I play that. I don't have expedition maps, so this doesn't really do anything for me. Odawara. Bounce my Amulet. You got it, champ. Grief. You got it, champ. They take the Amulet, which is the worst card in the hand. That doesn't make too much sense. I would imagine they would have taken the Summoners back there. So they're gonna draw step me? Huh. So I have a couple of options here. I can play Dryad and then force a Bog, but then if I do that, my opponent just does the thing. So I think that the best I can do is to just pass the turn back. So if my opponent wants to like do the living end on end step, they just, I mean, they get back their things, they discard my stuff, but then I have something to do, right? So I'm gonna start pressuring them with Saga constructs. Well, here's a 1/1. All right, now it's no longer a 1/1. It is a 2/2. Yep, you got it. So now they grief, and they take my Dryad, which is fine. I get an Amulet, and so I can go get a Dryad, and if I do, I guess I bounce this. I bounce the Teleria West. So play Growth Chamber. I guess I might as well bounce the Bujuk the Bog, because I have to keep developing my mana here, right? No, actually, I guess it's better to just chill and just cast the Primetime next turn. I think we'll just do that. I mean, it's most likely going to get forced or subtlety or whatever. That's what I would assume. Maybe it was better. I don't know. It's kind of close. But I have to assume that my opponent's going to have subtlety, force, or whatever. Yeah, maybe I should have bounced and transmuted for another Summoner's Pact. Yep. Well, I mean, this is technically lethal. Oh, it's not, actually. Oh, it's not because because of the... I can bring my opponent down to 2 because of the Waker of Waves. Brutal. So let's go Stronghold Growth Chamber. So Stronghold Growth Chamber, bounce T-West, play Garrison, haste Primetime, bounce the Stronghold, I guess. So I guess I can get 2 Growth Chambers. I swing for 7 because my interest here is to not die, right? So I get Rot Farm and Gruul Turf, and we're going to bounce Valakut, bounce the Garrison. Oh, I'm an idiot. I had to get 2 growth. Oh, I forgot to get the second blue. I had to get 2 growth chambers so I could transmute for. Okay, I threw this game away. Damn it. I had to get a second blue source so I could transmute, play. I thought of the entire line and then actually executed it poorly. So the plan was we transmute for Dryad Pact and then like play Dryad, play Valakut, kill Grief. That way my opponent does not have lethal on board. And even if they do have another living end, we do get our Dryad back. So, oh, we'll just go face. No, going face doesn't work. No, we have to actually kill the Grief there. Anyway, Endurance. I think that's it. Dude, like this list is awful. I do not like this list at all. I just don't have cards. My sideboard is so bad. And my main deck is like filled with dead cards. What is Mistaken trying to do here? I don't get it. I don't get it. What the hell is going on? I think I actually do like the dramatic entrances here. So I think I'm gonna cut one Explore and maybe Atraxa is nice to discard if I can pull that off. I think I'm just gonna cut 2 Explorers. On the play, this hand's great, I guess. Just because endurance, we have 2 endurances. So we're gonna play a nice and slow game this time around, just like the previous one. Play another green source. Say go. Opponent fetches on my end step. Wind Color Raven. And tap. I think I'm playing this Amulet. I guess I might as well play the Amulet there. Opponent fetches on my end step. Let's see what they got. They're at 12. Waker of Waves. Alright. I'm gonna wait until the Living goes on the stack. We're going to Endurance. Get back Endurance. Say okay. Alright. Swing for 3. So next turn we do get to cast Prime Time, which is nice. And we still have the Summoner's Pact in hand. And now we can actually cast the Summoner's Pact, which is also pretty nice. So I think I'm swinging first. And then casting the Titan second main phase. Get Growth Chamber. Make some mana. Opponent can Subtlety here. We just put it back on top. I'm not under a ton of pressure, so I'm just going to kind of take my time here. I can transmute, or I can set up Endurance. I think I'm gonna transmute. I think I'd rather transmute, get the blue sources in play, and play around my opponent having Force of Negation. Because it's pretty likely for them to have one more Living End, to beat an Outburst or whatever that may be. So transmute for Summoner's Pact, say go. This is bad if they find Grief plus black card. And the reason to do the second main phase is, again, I have no interest in attacking. And if I don't have any interest in attacking, then it's much better for me to make sure that I guarantee the 3 points of damage, so I can put more pressure on my opponent next turn. The same is going to be true here, right? Where if my opponent passes the turn back, this is fine because I'm forcing my opponent to do stuff on beginning of combat. Otherwise, this is just a lethal attack. So we just get Valakut times 2, I guess. So if I get Valakut times 2, we have a lethal attack here, so my opponent's forced to Wrath. And then second main phase, we just like play Dryad and just play 2 of my lands. And I get to play 2 Dryads too, which is nice. And I'm not going to play around my opponent having Force of Vigor, although I guess I can actually check. Okay, so they are playing Force of Vigor. They actually have multiple copies of Force of Vigor. They have very many copies of Force of Vigor. Cool, so that happened. Here's a Dryad. An opponent concedes. Alright. Cool. Game number 3. Man, this deck list sucks, huh? Versus Living End. Like, I don't care about Oblivion Stone. This just doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think we just submit this and we just hope that it works. I don't think there's too much we can do about it. Okay, I guess we keep this. So we can do the cheesy line here, and I think I'm going to. So I think I'm gonna go for the cheese line. I'm only doing this because I have endurance. I'm forcing my opponent to play through many things here. And then I have a Grazer, so I can actually catch back up. So it's not that big of a deal that I fall behind one land drop, because then I can kind of use this time that I'm buying and take advantage of it. Interesting. Alright, play Grazer. And I think I'm gonna play Slayer Stronghold. My opponent missed a land drop also, notably. There's an Amulet. Sure, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Cavern on Elemental, which really shows what I have going on, but not too much I can do. So next turn I'm going to reset everything again with the Bojuka Bog, while still holding on to the Endurance. And unless my opponent has an Endurance of their own, we're gonna be looking pretty here. Here's a Bog, so do you want to do anything about this, or what's up? Is this good? Perfect. Well, here's a Dryad for good measure. So now we're actually putting pressure. Waker of Waves. But yeah, this prime time just buys me a pretty significant amount of time, which is very nice. We still have Endurance in hand, which my opponent has probably figured out by the bluff that I'm putting together here. Crazy bluff. Alright, go to cleanup step. So they missed a land drop, but they put a land in the graveyard. That's very interesting. It's not a bad draw. Not a bad draw at all. Here's Valakut. So if I Endurance now, I can haste. That is going to be 5, 6, 7 damage. Opponent goes down to 2. No, I don't think so. I think I just chill. I think I just swing over here. And I'm putting the +2/+0 in the Grazer as opposed to putting the power on the Dryad because of Force. I saw my opponent has 4 copies of Force, so down to 5 they go. Charlotte's Agent. I think I just hardcast this. Like, I'm gonna have a Primeval Titan, so I don't think I care about the 3/4. Yeah, so there's the Subtlety. That's fine, because I'm fairly sure that Endurance on the bottom. I guess it doesn't matter. This prime time's coming back, so. So now that there's a Subtlety, what we can do is we can go Growth Chamber, Bounce Land. We're gonna bounce the Bounce Land, and all right. So now things get really tricky. Now things get very tricky, actually. Triple Waker of Waves is a lot, because that's actually lethal attack. I have to imagine my opponent has some way to deal with Dryads. So I guess there isn't much I can do. The only thing I can do is I can play around specifically. Subtlety number 2. So I guess I'm going to do that. I cannot beat Force of Negation, and I cannot beat Force of Vigor. So Force of Negation and Force of Vigor I can't beat. Oh, you know what I could do? I could try to high roll with Atraxa. So I can find... Oh no, my opponent just chomps with Subtlety, so it doesn't work. So it needs to be Dryad. But I'm going to play around... Subtlety. Is the only thing that I can play around. I cannot play around Force, and I cannot play around the Force of Vigor. So Force of Negation and Force of Vigor beat me, so the only thing that I can actually beat is this. Yeah, my opponent has the Force of Vigor. Pitching Force of Vigor, so they had it. But that was my second land drop. So even if I had enough mana, which I don't, but even if I had enough mana to like attack and like get, you know, what's his name, I'm still dead. So I think that's it, because even if I jump here, I take... No, because I'm gonna be stuck paying for pack next turn. So yeah, this is just dead. All right, that's what it is. Round number 4. Okay, let's think. Man, we don't have expedition map, so this hand is a lot worse than it could be. I still think I'm gonna keep it, but this is gonna be a little bit of a slower hand, I think. So I want to go turn 1 Boseiju, play Amulet, and then I'm gonna play Saga on 2. So I'm actually going to try to get some value from this Saga, I think. Opponent goes Flooded Strand, Basic Plains. All right, another Hammer Gamer. I mean, this could be bad. That would have been a reason to not lead on Boseiju, I guess. Man, do I really have to do this now? I think I'm gonna go for Saga here. If my opponent has double hammer and land and double hammer, I lose the game. But by doing this right now, what I'm doing is I'm making it so it's a little bit tougher. Like, I just have a B plan, right? So now what happens is, now that I have done this, now I play out the Gruul Turf and I bounce the Boseiju. I'm holding up Boseiju to kill, you know, like a Ink Moth that can kill me. But next turn I'm going to be getting the second Amulet, so I can still potentially Dramatic Entrance. If I find a bounce land, or if I find, like, I guess any to be tapped green source, which I guess is just the bounce land, so that's kind of it. And again, like, this is why I don't understand this card. Like, I don't get what this card is. Like, I don't understand the problem that this is trying to fix. A card like Through the Breach is going to make a situation like this a lot better, right? Because you have a very easy single red mana source, a single red mana cost. You also don't have that much of a reliance on green sources. So even under a Blood Moon, you can still semi-reliably be able to cast Through the Breaches fairly easily. So, like, if Breach is trying to fix a problem for the deck, I don't understand what this card is trying to do. Like, this doesn't fix a problem in my eyes. Like, I don't understand what the point is. That's a Paladin. That's fine. Sure. There's a hammer. So the question now is, do I kill this? Do I kill the hammer or do I kill the Thopter? Or do I just take 10, right? All of those are potential options. I can simply just take the 10, but then if I do that, then I'm a little bit more susceptible to dying next turn. I think I'm just going to take the 10. I think I'm going to take the 10. It's not lethal. Next turn I'm going to have this random construct to be able to chomp. So an attack with both creatures doesn't threaten me too much. We still have Boseiju. Yeah, I guess that's lethal. Because I can just go packed for Dryad now. So float some mana, bounce, packed for Dryad, play Gruul Turf, make some mana, and I guess I'm not gonna be able to trigger Valakut, so I'm just going to basically guarantee that I don't lose the game. So let's go Stronghold plus. Can still put the Valakut into play if I wanted to. Does that do anything? I guess it doesn't really do anything, but it's just free to do. So I might as well. So do this. Red, white, haste, untap, move to combat, swing, get Sun home. Let's get a group. Float some mana. Float white. Double strike my boy. So this forces the chomp, and then I can choose whether I want to play around what's his name or not, whether I want to play around Solitude or not, and I think I don't want to there. Okay, so Boseiju is good, Explosives is good, and I don't want a Atraxa, I don't want Dramatic Entrance, I do want those stones. I guess I like that. Yeah, I think this looks fine. Let's go with this. Fire Spout is just mediocre. I mean, it's just situational, right? Like, sometimes it's going to be fine and sometimes it's not going to be fine. So, I'd rather my deck be more reliant. Again, like, 31 lands is so low, in my opinion. Like, I honestly look back at how we used to play Amulet back in the day, and it blows my mind that we were playing, like, 28 lands. Like, it's just crazy to me now. I think I'm going to keep this hand. Like, Explosives is that messed up of a card. So, I think this hand is worth keeping. Turn 1 Hallowed Fountain. I'm not gonna play it preemptively though, so I'm just gonna chill on it. I'm gonna let my opponent overextend, and then see how much value I can get. Something tells me that my opponent's gonna be able to draw cards from this Esper Sentinel. They're gonna get to draw cards, but I'm also gonna be able to get like a pretty significant amount of value from these Explosives. I think they get Hammer. They do get a Hammer. If I EE for 1 now, my opponent knows to get Engineered Explode. They know to get Peeling Needle, so I kind of don't want to do that. The good thing is if I do Explore now, my opponent gets to draw a card, but I think I just passed the turn. So if I do Explore now, they get to draw a card, and then next turn they don't draw a card from the Explosives, but if they actually suit up the Esper Sentinel, that's worse for me. And this way, like, what tilts the scale in my eyes is the fact that now I can represent Boseiju here. Let's see. Maybe my opponent just doesn't play around it. Alright. Guess they don't have it. Maybe they do. Shadow Spear. So I guess that means that I'm dead. I guess that means that I'm dead because I cannot. Like, if I EE on 1, I guess it doesn't. So I think what I'm supposed to do now is I'm supposed to play this out. I'm gonna let my opponent draw a card. And the way that I win this game is if my opponent does not have Peeling Needle in their deck. Because I cannot beat Peeling Needle. Because otherwise my opponent's going to be able to, like, get the second hammer and kill me with it. So the only way that I can beat this is if my opponent does not have another... they don't have a Peeling Needle in their deck. Float a mana. Again, can't play around it, so not going to. Paradise Mantle. Okay. Second Saga is good. Second Saga is good. If only I had Force of Vigor in my deck. Instead of a bunch of random cards that are all heinous. Okay, so now they get Caldra and I go to 1, I guess. So Caldra swings for 7, but I have only 1 amulet. I don't have a route. I guess, I guess if I top deck exactly Amulet into Primeval Titan, maybe I can do something. Maybe. It's not super likely, but it needs to be exactly that. Alright, crack this to not die. Go to 1. They had the Pitying Needle in hand? What? That's hilarious, actually. I mean, my opponent messed up, right? Because they could have just killed me. They played the Pitying Needle, they forced the action on the explosives, and then they just go from there. Instead of getting the Caldra, they just get a hammer and I die. So they should have just played the Pitying Needle. I cannot beat that. So they just made a mistake there. They named Ursa Saga. Weird. All right. So Primeval Titan into Amulet of Vigor. Only way that I can win. So, halfway there. Halfway there, baby. Play that. Explore. Prime time. All right. So we actually are gonna need to math here. So this is 4 mana, 5 mana. So play another Dryad. Play Prime Time. Combat, I get double Valakut. Then I use Primeval Titan to chump. That's hilarious. But I think that's the line. So play that, play this, and we actually have to find 6 mana, Summoner's Pact for Prime Time. Play Prime Time. We actually have to get Valakut into Stronghold, so that we get 2 lands into play here. Red, white. Oh, we have 1 extra land drop still. Yeah, this is actually lethal. That's hilarious. So let's get Valakut plus, I guess, Boseiju. So go face, go face, go face, go face. Actually, did I miscount here? Red, white. Always yes, always yield. No, we're fine. This is actually lethal. Exactly lethal even. Vesuva, copy Valakut, go face. I mean, we would have been able to like kill this, kill the Paladin, kill the Stoneforge, and then like chump the Caldra with probably just a Primeval Titan, and then next turn we untap and we just play a land or 2 and kill them. So we were still fine, but it's, you know, I mean, I guess we would have died to another, because of the aid, we would have died to a Colossus Hammer off the top. Yeah, so my opponent missed lethal there. If they had played the Pitying Needle, they would have won the game. So they actually had it locked up. Last match, and I'm pretty sure we've been on the play every single round, which is funny. So what are we doing here? We can go play Saga on 1, play Amulet. Turn 2, play Forest, go. Turn 3, float a mana, get second Amulet. We play T-West, tap twice, then explore into Bounce Land in order to transmute and find Primeval Titan that way. And this should be like a turn 4 kill on the play. Seems good enough. So play Saga, play Amulet, say go. But yeah, it's funny, we actually have to hold on to the Explore. Hold off on the Explore because this is going to be our double blue. Oh, interesting, we're playing a Saga Mirror match. Play land, say go. Oh, this is the weirdo Amulet deck. What's his name? The Spike Brew. That's what it is. So now we explore another Saga. So play T-West, float some blue mana, and then play, I guess, Gruul Turf, and transmute for Summoner's Pact, and ship the turn back. I think I'm gonna let my opponent get an Amulet into play, and then they're gonna use one of their tricks, and then I'm gonna go Seiju the Amulet. Because like a single Amulet doesn't really do anything from here, right? A single Amulet on their side doesn't do anything at all. So if they go for like Magazine Gardens or whatever, I just get to blow them out, effectively time walk them. All right, there we go. Just gonna see. This is very much a non-particularly exciting matchup. Oblivion Stone is actually kind of weird in this matchup because my opponent is gonna have access to Karn the Great Creator, which blanks this game plan. So I think we cut Bojuka Bog, bring in Boseiju, and we just submit the same deck. I don't think we want to make any changes. We really, honestly, like, this has been one of the most interesting things about this. Like, it's just like, the sideboard is a blank. Like, this is one of the worst sideboards I think I've played in Amulet. Like, I had so many matchups where I didn't have any cards. Like, if you don't get paired against creativity, 3 of your sideboard slots are just gone, right? Just like that. So this seems like a very challenge aimed sideboard where creativity is like 20% of the metagame or whatever, or the winner's metagame, or however you want to call it. So in that context, maybe 3 Orbars in the sideboard makes a little bit more sense. But like, this was heinous. Like the entire league, the sideboard has been pretty much non-functional. Okay, so opponent reveals Jegantha, which is big because it means that they don't have Force of Vigor. So that's nice. I don't have to worry about that. What I have to worry about is the fact that my deck is just bad. So if I go turn 1 Saga, I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do at all. No, this hand is just bad. Let's go get something else. This one's better, but again, like, this is a mulligan already, right? And so this is a mulligan over a mulligan. I mean, I could keep this. No, I'm going to 5. Yeah, I mean, this is the best hand we've seen so far. Just not to say too much, but keep this. And they just concede the match because somehow their deck is worse than ours. We ended up with 3-2 somehow. But this is not a good list, I don't think. Like, at least it doesn't work for me. Like, at this point, I'm pretty sure that Mistaken is just too good, and he wins in spite of his deck lists, not because of them. Like, there are so many problems with this list that I don't even know where to begin. So I'm gonna try to do my best here. So, you are adding clunky cards that don't do anything and make your mulligans worse. And then you are cutting the cards that add to your consistency. That is your Azusa, you are cutting your Expedition map, which makes Urza Saga a much better angle of attack. You are cutting lands, like many of them. You're cutting 3 lands in order to make room for these cards that like don't really do anything. So you are really adding to the deck's variance for a payoff that I don't know is realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there were any problems that this is trying to fix, like I was using the example earlier of Thriller Beach, which is like the closest thing, right? Like it does something very similar to Dramatic Entrance, but it kind of fixes a bunch of issues that the deck otherwise has. This one doesn't, though, and like you're still in the same spot that you would be otherwise, except that like you just drew some cards from Atraxa. Like, this is not really a deck that is trying to like gain value. You're trying to end the game. Like, Primeval Hand can give you value if you need it, but it can also end the game if that's what you would call for, and Atraxa just cannot do that. So I feel like this deck is just trying to be a little bit too cute, and I just don't really see what problems this is trying to fix. And if it's trying to fix, like, if you tell me what those problems are, I can probably tell you a better way to fix them. You know what I'm saying? And then the sideboard, as I was saying, like, this is very much a sideboard that is aimed at the metagame in a challenge. So if you try to play a sideboard like this in a league, it's just gonna go poorly. But this sideboard was just awful, right? We got paired against Hammer. Like, we lost against Hammer. Like, I have not lost against Hammer in so long, and it was only because like my sideboard just doesn't do anything against it. Like, we just don't have cards. We have like, I'm assuming Crassus is there for the same matchups that the Dramatic Entrance Atraxa game plan is going, except that if you bring this into your deck, now your deck becomes even clunkier, right? Like, so that's kind of my problem with this deck. Is just, it feels like some of the sideboard plans are not, they're just non-functional. So the cards in the sideboard are okay, with the exception of the Crazies, which I don't think are very good, and the Fire Spell, which I also don't think are very good. But the problem is that the sideboard changes, like the cyber mapping only works in very specific matchups. And if you like, we got paired against Living End and we had 2 cards. That's it. Like nothing else in our cyber did anything. And not only did we have only 2 cards, but also we kind of wanted to get rid of some cards too. Like the Dramatic Entrance Atraxa game plan, like it's not particularly great when your opponent's trying to like go way over the top of what you're trying to do. If you like, this doesn't stabilize, right? So you go ahead, you get your cutesy Dramatic Entrance into a Atraxa thing going on, and then your opponent Living Ends, and then you end up with nothing, right? And they have like a whole board state, and you can draw as many cards as you want, but that's not necessarily going to help you stabilize against a resolved Living End. So that's kind of what I see, like the issue that I see with the deck. It was fun though, like just putting Atraxa into play was kind of exciting. I'm not gonna say no to that. But even when it did, like we drew 4 cards, but they were not particularly great, right? Like we drew like another Atraxa which didn't do anything, another Dramatic Entrance which didn't do anything. So like the cards that we got, like we drew a bunch of them, but they sometimes are gonna do stuff and sometimes they're not gonna do stuff. It's one of the reasons why a card like Abundant Harvest, which we tried in Amulet in the past, and it was very quickly just discarded because you are looking for very specific cards. Like you're not just looking for a land or a creature or an on land, you're looking for either Primeval Titan or a Boreal Racer. And if you have one or the other one when you need the opposite, like you're still dead. You know what I'm saying? So that was the problem with that kind of card, and that also feels like it's a problem with Atraxa. Sure, you get to look at 10 cards, like that's a pretty healthy amount, but obviously, you know, in that we just whenever it happened to us, like we did not find the prime time, and we were just like kind of we shrugged and we just kept on like doing whatever we were doing anyway. So yeah, I'm just perplexed by this deck list. This is not, however, the spiciest list that we will be playing in terms of Amulet, so stay tuned for that. But that's gonna be it for this video, though. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and see you in the next one, folks. Take care. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.